This podcast is brought to you by eHarmony, the dating app to find someone you can be yourself with. Why doesn't eHarmony allow copy and paste in first messages? Because you are unique, and your conversations should reflect that. eHarmony wants you to find someone who will get you. How are you going to know who gets you if people send you the same generic conversation starters they message everyone else? Conversations that actually help you get to know each other. Imagine that. Get who gets you on eHarmony. Sign up today.
Getting the smile and confidence you've been dreaming about, all from the comfort of your home, isn't a total mystery with Byte clear aligners. Just don't be surprised if all your friends start asking, "What's your secret?" Begin by ordering your at-home impression kit today for only $14.95. Byte clear aligners are doctor-directed and delivered to your door. Treatment costs thousands less than braces, plus they offer flexible financing, accept eligible insurance, and you can pay with your HSA FSA. Get 80% off your impression kit when you use code WONDERY at Byte.com. That's BYTE.com. Start your confidence journey today with Byte.
Let's chat. It's hard. You want to talk? I know, that's disappointing. Sit back. Let's work this out. How's it going? What are we doing here? Where are you going? Hey there. Wow. It's not always easy. It's amazing if you think about it. Let's think about this. Strange. I have some thoughts about that. Life is hard. Trauma bonded.
This is a big one, T.
It's a big one.
We are going to proceed without judgment.
Oh, we are? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe we'll have some judgment. We have to have some judgment.
Well, you started it off like, oh, can we cross some of this out? Just kidding.
Yeah, I wrestled a lot with this one.
This one was tough.
I have so many questions
I
still.
have lots of questions. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see where it goes.
If you all are checking off your bingo boxes, this is the fourth story in the This Is Actually Happening series, the 82% Modern Stories of Love and Family, 4 of 6. So we'll have 2 more of these surprises, I think you'll find.
Oh, so there's 2 more of these, and then are we going on?
And then there will be
sabbatical,
like a 6-week break.
Oh, great! People are gonna stop listening to us for 6 months and be like, "Wait, what the hell?"
Oh, they're still there. They come back and they're like, "Oh." 6 weeks break on This Is Actually Happening, where we'll do rebroadcasts, and I think Trauma Bonded will be also taking a break. I don't think we'll do the full 6 weeks. We haven't really actually talked about this, but at least a few.
I mean, I'll be in Alaska.
Yeah, they don't have internet there, so, and I'll try to get some.
I'll be on a boat.
It's
hard
they
to...
don't have internet on boats.
I mean,
actually, they don't. It's kind of difficult, actually.
I know you're being sarcastic, but I'm saying.
Yeah, but we'll keep you posted. We'll try not to leave you too high and dry.
Why don't we do a comments episode?
We should do a comments episode.
Yeah, right? I bet there's some fiery
big,
ones
juicy
about
one. Oh,
this whole
that's a great
82%.
idea, too. That's what we'll do. We'll do a special comments episode just about the 82%
That'd be
series. Fun.
Totally fun, right?
And scary. Let's get out there and meet our voters.
Like, F you!
Who's trying to take your rights away this year? Welcome to Trauma Bonded. I'm Elly Westberg here with Therese Garcia.
Hello.
And today we're discussing episode 327 of the podcast. This Is Actually Happening. What if you had no title? As of this recording, we have no title. We have no working title.
Fun.
T.
Yeah, well, let's workshop it.
If you think of a title, shout it out.
We'll workshop it as we go. Something might,
And for the record, just so you guys don't think I'm a major slacker, I sent a lot of title options to Whit and Andrew.
But we don't think you're a slacker now. We just think you have really bad title options.
Well, I mean, the first time I listened to this one, my brain was firing off.
I know, there's a lot. I think the third time...
That'd make a good title. The
third time I listened to it, it was just everything, all my thoughts. There's always something different, I was thinking.
Yeah. I'm still
every
in a
listen.
bit of a malaise.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
A brief synopsis. Art begins his life on a Brazilian farm, but ends up in the rural space of western New Jersey. His dad, a landscaper, and his mom, a cleaner. He understands being a poor, hardworking immigrant and feeling othered. School was lonely. At 13, he realizes he is gay and fears that gay people are bad. Also at 13, he starts to believe in Jesus. Could it be true that God is love and God loves him deeply as he is? He comes out to his parents and they reject him as expected. He goes to conversion therapy and resents God because God excludes him. Then comes a youth retreat and he has a radical religious experience. What will life be like to be a gay boy that follows Jesus? His wonderful friends help to guide him all through his life, show him compassion, understanding, acceptance, and become his chosen family. As art is today, he's convicted to be celibate and he lives in chosen family. Him and his chosen family bear each other's burdens and find deep community together. And full disclosure, I'm the showrunner for This Is Actually Happening, and T knows nothing about anything. She comes in fresh. And this show, Trauma/Bonded, is for the listeners, a space where we can talk about each episode, digest it, and reflect on it with empathy and also a bit of levity. That's Trauma Bonded. T, what stuck out to you as the heart of Art's story?
I had a lot of hearts, a couple of which didn't make sense.
Okay.
I went with whole.
With a W.
With a W. I thought you might like that. You might. So I think finally he's at a place where he can be his whole person, right? He's out. He's loving his whole self. There's throughout the story, we hear him saying how, something's missing or he has to hide his true self. Can't tell anyone, but, and then when you're your whole self, your true self, right? You're aware, you're accepting yourself. That helps you actually, love others and really be able to do that.
Yeah, I get the sense that this guy does not have a self-esteem problem, which I think can sometimes maybe plague people in Christianity. I'm not sure which came first, the chicken or the egg.
There's a lot of chicken or the eggs here.
Yeah, but he seems very self-assured in his point of view, which I appreciate. And I believe that he believes that he is whole in the way that he says.
I also believe that that's what he believes.
This intersectionality of...
Integration piece.
Integration, yeah, celibacy and faith
and homosexuality.
Yeah.
So that's what I went with, but I thought we'd just dig into it later, But I just
could that be the title?
What was it?
What if you were able to integrate your faith into your homosexual? Well, are you homosexual first or are you Christian first? These are both kind of identifiers, aren't they?
Sorry, that's interesting. I think that's an interesting one. Somehow, the faith and homosexuality.
I think what this episode is going to come down to is I think it's going to be really hard for us to hone in on our exact feelings about this. I think it's going to be kind of a little bit all over the place. Do you think so?
Agreed. Yeah.
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 So just bear with us as Christ bears with you. Some of the Bible is all right. Okay.
Wait, all right or all right?
All right. It's all right. It's good. It's pretty good. It's all right.
Okay, it's not like all of it is right.
No.
Okay.
That's not what I mean at all.
Okay, good.
It's like,
it's all right.
It's like, I can thumbs up to that. I can co-sign that.
It does.
In fact, there's a lot of good stuff in the New Testament. Whether people live by it is a whole other thing. But, he talks about how we should bear each other's burdens, and this is in Galatians. And it is a powerful tenet of Christianity, yet it is rare to see. And in a secular way, we should all strive for that. And I think we try to do that in our friendships to help bear each other's burdens. My sister is a pastor with her husband, and they say at their church, if you are having a struggle, that's okay. Just don't struggle alone, which I think is really nice.
That is nice.
And some of y'all might recall that my dad died last summer, right before we started the show. So I'm back in Arkansas for his death anniversary. And ironically, I've done a lot of church junk these past weeks. So it feels really appropriate that we're talking about this topic today.
Oh.
Ironically, I actually attended a Bible study this past Tuesday, T.
Are you okay?
And we studied Galatians.
Oh.
Now make no mistake about it. I go to these things when I am in Arkansas because it means a lot to my family. And it's easy for me to do. And if it makes them so happy, why would I deny them this happiness? I'm also confident in my point of view, so I don't fear feelings of shame or being a sinner, falling away from God. There's no like there's no backsliding energy in me. Like ultimately the services and the gatherings and the prayers mean little to me. I intend these things only to find deeper community and intimacy with my family, who are very different from me, and honestly the people that follow them, like these local Arkansasians that I might never meet in my regular life. The religiosity, the rules, the dogma, all the bullshit that divides us, divides people, divides religions, divides nations, it means nothing. It's all fleeting, and the only thing that matters is how we connect with and lift up each other. And ultimately, that is where I agree with Art, and I think that's what the heart of his story is. That it only matters is how we connect with and lift each other up.
I like that.
But yeah, isn't it weird that I'm like having all this church experience?
You're in it. Do they?
And that we just talked about Galatians.
Yeah. It's hard for me because Galatians means nothing to me.
Yeah.
Because again, Catholics, like Slackers, I don't know anything in the Bible, and I didn't even know Galatians was a thing, so. So I was like, yeah, he said that at one point.
So the Apostle Paul is he's writing a letter to the church of Galatians, and this is just after Jesus is risen from the dead and ascended back to heaven. Do you
It's
want me to go
hard
on?
for me to... like,
You're like,
first,
I started thinking about
all I hear is
hot dogs.
I'm like, well, yes to that. No, sorry. When
Oh yeah, I remember that when
those-
Paul did that.
when the words come out, it's like when my mom said, and I can't even do it. I can't like when my mom starts saying like, I can't. There's so many words in a row,
I know.
and they're long words,
I know.
and they're words I've never used.
Yeah.
I start to just.
Christianese. That's what it's called.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Do they have that on Duolingo?
Hi-oh. Art.
Uncle Art.
He grew up in Brazil until he was 5, it sounds like. Only child. Moved to America pretty young, and his parents were working a lot, and so he found himself being alone a lot. And when they finally did have a home, they would host people all day, and this was very exciting to him. School was lonely, and his parents worked for a lot of his classmates, which gave him, this extra special shame for him. Did you have anything particular you wanted to talk about with regard to kind of like those first 12 years for him?
No, except for I felt like I was relating to him a little bit. I mean, I wasn't born in my mother country, but I guess my mother's country.
I was going to say, I've never heard you say my mother country.
I don't know what that means. I don't know. I said that, but
I'm not well versed in my mother's tongue.
I don't know if that was going to be my accent, but
It was just a general European.
but I'm not. We're from the Philippines.
I know, but I can't do
It's just
Philippines.
funny. Yeah. Anyway, I didn't live there, but I was an only child. I was brought up an only child, and my parents were immigrants. So I very much felt...
And they worked a lot.
They worked, yeah. I wouldn't say 12-hour days, but they worked full-time, both of them. And I did feel lonely sometimes as well. So I'm like with him a little bit,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you weren't in the position of them like doing service work for your school, your classmates. Like you went to fancy schools.
No, my classmates weren't in my parents' circle either. I mean, or anything. I don't know.
Yeah.
My dad was an engineer.
That'd be tough, man.
I think so.
Your dad cleans our pool.
Yeah.
Awkward. But who says that?
Who says that? Just assholes.
It feels like something that's out of a movie. It's not like real life.
Yeah, it's like...
Doesn't your dad clean our pool?
Yeah.
So at 12 years, Art is bullied, alone, feeling sorrow and misunderstood. And he says he's depressed and he has bouts of wanting to die. And he actually comes to his parents. And what's the solution, according to his parents? Church will help.
Oh, yes. Church. Yeah, because they didn't believe in therapy.
Right. Well, conversion therapy, but we're not there
But
yet.
that's through the church. They use the word therapy, but it doesn't feel like the right one.
Wrong word. His mom has a radical moment with Jesus in a Presbyterian church, and Art is coming to realize he's gay. Another story of a boy entering puberty and having to deal with other boys that, of course, T, you and I can't handle.
Oh, God. It's too much.
And I just want to point this out right now, and this is a theme throughout this episode. He has the loveliest male friends.
Really? Really?
Even at this young age,
Yeah.
13 years old.
It's so caring.
His friend Nick, who's a different Nick, I think, than he knows is...
Okay, that was one of my questions.
I believe so. He doesn't say, but I think so. Aren't you gay? I'm not gay, but you gay. That's so sweet.
But I love you, and it's okay.
But I love you. I love you and you're gay.
And it's okay. That would have been my one word. Oh, gay. Gay and okay.
Okay. Oh, God. Did you want to talk about your Pride experience?
Yeah. I don't know. It was really fun.
Regale our listeners with your tales from lesbian Pride.
Every time lesbian Pride, right? So every time I'm always like, I'm going to Pride, They're like, oh, Sunday Pride, the big Pride parade. No. Yeah. I'm not going to that.
No.
I go to the one the day before, Dyke March.
I've been to.
That you've been to. But they don't actually march anymore, is what I hear. In fact, they haven't marched in years. And last year I was like, oh my God, we missed it. We were all so drunk. And I was like, how did I miss
never
it?
once made it to the march.
Oh, really? It's so confusing. I mean, people start walking, you can see it's happening. But I'm like,
yeah.
But I gotta pee. I mean, you've been at the park for like 7 hours, just like. But it was just a little bit different from 20 years ago. And it's like, whoa, this be crazy. Let's all do the drugs, This one I was like... Not to out anyone, but one of our friends was like, oh, I forgot my arthritis cream, like that. Or make sure you drink water after every... I'm at a 5. Should we go to the bathroom now? Like that kind of thing. No, we're going together.
I want to get in line.
Yeah. This line's the shortest. No, it's going fast because there's... it's just a lot of analysis of all the bathroom lines. Oh
my God.
It wasn't like that
amazing.
A while ago. But, so much smarter now. So much, shorter line time.
Really?
And I wasn't hungover, and I felt good, and I was having fun, lots of fun. But I wasn't wasted like I've been in the past. And then I got to hang with all our old friends.
I did not expect so much of this analysis to be about bathroom lines. But it just speaks to your age as well. It was lovely to see the photos you sent me, seeing everyone old with their gray hair.
Yeah.
But still looking like themselves.
Yeah. It was pretty fun.
That's awesome.
And then we were going to go to the club, you know what I mean? We did last year.
Which the club?
We were going to go to El Rio for Mango.
Oh my God.
We did that last year, and we stayed in line for 3 hours. But we made friends with people in line. We had a little party in line. There was the liquor store right there, so we were just buying drinks there and drinking and But this year we were like, okay, let's go to the Airbnb, change, refresh, whatever. And we're going to go back out and meet up.
You had an Airbnb?
My friend had it because she lives far away. But
Jess?
I don't want to.
Did it feel like
names
there was an air of, I don't know, fear at Pride this year?
Not at all. What do you mean? For what?
Oh, okay.
Oh, we decided not to talk about any of that. Yeah, we made that decision.
Smart.
There was a little hint or something.
Good.
It's we don't know. Yeah. So,
this could be the
someone
last
literally
one.
said, well, not sure what, whatever it was.
We could all be in a gulag next summer, so.
And then we stopped.
Jesus. And glad we brought it up. And that brings us back to why we did. Well, it's not the only reason why we did the series on modern families, but there's a lot at risk this November. So, just vote like your life depends on it. And I have this in my notes, and I wasn't expecting to bring it up this quickly, but who do you think Art votes for? Who do you think Art's going to vote for this November?
This was a big one I was thinking about with him. And I didn't think we were going to get to it this quickly either, but because there's a lot.
Well, I brought it up, so let's...
Honestly,
curious.
I wasn't thinking about who he votes for necessarily, but what I was thinking about was, what if, he's hanging with his friends. He lives with Nick and everything's great. He doesn't have, his own partner or kids or whatever, but Nick does and everything, right? And they're living and everything's great. What if Art's like, what I do want? I've met someone and fell in love, and I do kind of want to have a family in addition to the family I already have. I want to have a kid, whatever. What's that going to do for these conservative Christians?
To that relationship.
With their conservative Christian family. And then...
he does call him conservative a few times.
And then, how's that going to work out? Yeah, so when there are decisions made, or there's choices, where do you vote? Do you vote against gay marriage? Do you vote against gay couples having children? Do you vote, which way are you going to go? Good thing it's I've got a brother who's gay, Maybe that would change things. But to say you're a conservative Christian makes it pretty hard to think that they'd be down to support that, lifestyle. I say it like that because I hate that word.
Yeah, I'm curious myself. Maybe we should email him at the end of the show.
Yeah.
And ask. Well, especially he's counseling like young LGBTQ youth.
Well, that's what I was thinking too.
Like, what is he saying to them when they ask him those questions? Yeah, how is he guiding them?
Because he found a nice little niche there.
He did carve out a little pocket for himself, didn't he? It just happens to work because he's celibate. But you're right. As soon as he decides to diverge from that path, then how is everyone around him feeling about his choices?
Well, it's all these things, right? Like,
and how is he guiding other kids?
You can be gay. You just can't act on it, right? And that hits me hard. I feel like I have family members who are kind of like that, who think that and are that.
Yeah.
And they're like, it's just a weird thing.
It feels like a weird limbo to live in, and like you're not fully accepting yourself. But he makes this point that just because you're same-sex attractive doesn't necessarily mean that your deepest relationships have to have an element of romance or sex.
So is he like homosexual and asexual?
No, he's celibate. He has the feelings.
Yeah. Well, he did say at one point, he does say... At some point, he has surrendered to it, right?
Yeah.
I'm like rewinding it. I'm like, what? Did you do someone or not? And it was really quick. It was so fast. I mean, he has younger, but after he said he was celibate, he made that decision.
Yeah.
It sounded like there were a couple times where he may have,
He might have had an indiscretion. Yeah, I agree too.
Because that was where things got. I was like, I'm with you, and then I heard conservative Christian. I was like,
I'm with you.
The Christian thing? Okay.
Whoa.
But the conservative Christian, I'm like, ooh.
That's a whole different ballpark. Well, I'm start wondering, what is this East Coast small Christian college he's going to? And is it Liberty University? That Jerry Falwell school? Is it? Yeah. Horrible.
Okay.
Anyway, so Art's whole puberty is no gay. He knows that his dad hates gays. His dad's very macho man. He hears the church diminish gays, like God loves everyone, even the gays. He's right. It's such a terrible messaging. So he's got in his mind that gay people are bad, and oh my God, he's gay. And he does start to believe in Jesus, and he hears this message that God is love. And this is really, really, not only that God is love, but God loves him exactly who he is, where he is, what he is. And this is a really, really powerful message if you are alone and you've never felt the kind of love that they're telling you that God has. And I was in church in Arkansas this past Sunday, and they played this song in praise and worship, and it's called The Reckless Love of God. And I just want to read some of these lyrics to you, because I want to really make it clear how emotionally manipulative this shit is. I'm not saying it's not.
Well, manipulative sounds like you're saying
it's bad or something, but the way that...
Okay.
It is emotionally manipulative, though. I mean, it is there to curate a feeling, and it does a really good job.
I'm thinking like some people emotionally manipulate themselves. It's not that like that people are trying to brainwash everybody. They believe it.
They're creating this whole like atmosphere where you can have these beliefs. So listen to the lyrics of the song. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down. It fights till I'm found. It leaves the 99. I couldn't earn it and I don't deserve it still. You give yourself away. Listen to the bridge. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, da 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 da. It is talking about this unwavering, reckless, strong, like zero laser focus love of God. Like God loves you so much that he's gonna knock down mountains to get to you, right? Like even if you're running away from him, he loves you so much that he's gonna come after you so hard. Now,
it sounds like an abusive relationship to me, but okay, like it's kind of scary. I don't know what you're saying, emotionally manipulative, but it sounds like a horror story. Like I'm trying to get away, but for some reason the walls behind me keep breaking down.
This guy keeps coming after me and he won't stop.
You know, you run as fast as you can, and I'm not the kind that's going to just fall. But you look behind you, and he's right there.
Hi.
I was like, how did that happen? I've been doing all this stuff. And he's just walking, you know, in the horror movie. You're running so
slow,
fast.
Steady.
And you're just like, I'm going to hide here. I'm going to go left here and right here and all things. He's just walking.
If you believe this, It is powerful. It is mind-blowing. It is life-changing. If you hear it in a beautiful melody with a band and a crowd of voices singing out loud, it's hard not to be moved emotionally.
Again, from my perspective, to hear a beautiful melody with such a horrific image to me sounds disturbing. It's kind of like in Gummo or whatever, where like that music, what is it, like roller coaster song comes on, and it's like a fun roller coaster song. Is that roller coaster? And then like, but something horrific is happening. Like, it's that like, you know what I'm talking about? Like that duality or something. I'm just saying from my own perspective, it sounds really Gumbo.
All I remember from Gumbo is when that kid's in the bathtub and he eats those chocolate bars that fall in the dirty water.
I actually don't remember anything. It was a bit traumatic, really. But it's like that roller coaster. You know that roller coaster? Like fun song?
No.
And then just like the most horrific things are happening.
No one knows what you're talking about.
It's like a fun, friendly song.
Okay, but suspend the abuse narrative for a second.
Hard.
And just think about if you feel lonely and you feel like your parents have conditions around how they love you, and you're being told that there's this supreme being that created you and does not want you apart from him. I know even that sounds abusive, but it's not out of abuse. It's out of needing to connect with you. It's needing to have communion with you. Mm-hmm. And he's doing everything that he can to get to you.
I'm getting what you're saying, but the words, it's hard. You have no one. You don't have anyone.
Let's try not. Yeah. Let's try not to be obtuse. Okay.
You're the one saying the words. I'm gonna get you. I'm like, is that supposed to be charming?
In a good way.
No, but I know what you're saying. Like, you don't feel loved by anyone, but this supreme being who, like, everyone loves this supreme being. They worship this supreme being. And he's leaving them all behind just to pursue you. I get that. That's how much he loves you. He sees you like playing on the side of the highway, and maybe you're going to get hurt, and he wants to like snatch you out and like save your life. And it's unconditional. So you could be like running to a crack house trying to get a fix, and like he's right there with you. He wants to be there, grab you, surround you with love, hug you, and say it's going to be okay, and like save you. I mean, these are the kind of messages that are happening in churches all over the world, in praise and worship, with the music, with the voices, with the band, all of it. And there's music, and there's lighting, and there's people crying, and there's people dancing, and it creates this atmosphere that is conducive for being emotionally moved. Everything I just said, I'm just saying, if you put me in that room, I would be sobbing.
You're not wrong.
I'd be sobbing because the music lifts me, right? And the people, the energy in there, I get it. But you just told me those words like that. I was like, oh my God, what is this, Shining? What is this?
When you read them, read them out of context. Yeah,
but I know in the room it'd be very, very powerful.
It does sound scary.
I would be weeping, I'm sure, because I'd feel it.
And I even teared up because I was thinking about if someone has never felt that kind of love before, and they get in that situation in a church, and everyone's like urging them toward salvation, it'd be really hard to resist it, is what I'm saying. You want to lean into it. You want to accept it. You want to believe that it's true.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you feel like you don't believe it, what if, right? And you're like, this is the kind of love that I feel like would support me, make me feel like I belong and I'm not an other and I'm in it, right? I get it, yeah.
Because we walk out of church and we feel so much rejection and otherness and apartness and not good enough and not strong enough, and someone's yelling at me about this and someone doesn't think I'm good enough at this, and you get to church on Sunday and all of that goes away and someone is telling you you are loved. I get it. Like, no matter what. That shit's powerful. That's like a drug. What if this is true? That's what he says. What if this is true? And in one way, he embraces this. He loves it. But then in another way, it makes him resent God because he feels other. He feels apart from it. He feels like it's not for him. And this is when the self-harm happens. And he calls it a focus for all the pain of life. And then he makes the courageous decision to come out to his parents, and it goes as poorly as you expect it to. His dad is saying, look what you did to your mother, and his mother is sobbing and praying that, oh no, not him, and hopefully we'll change him. And they put him in conversion therapy.
Have you seen those TikToks where
oh God.
Where they do skits or whatever, or like sketches, and the person comes out as straight, and the parents are like, no son of mine Like, look at your mother. You're upsetting your mother. Like, something. You don't even love Celine anymore? Like, it's hilarious.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, send it to me.
I'll send it to you. It's really funny. But everything he said was kind of like the things that, when you come out as gay, the kind of fucked up things people say to you to try to change you. I don't understand.
Yeah,
like,
I can't imagine.
Like, they didn't even know.
I can't think of a...
They had no inkling. It's kind of like...
Yeah, he just likes them all. Leave him alone. So in conversion therapy, the main message there is if we heal his childhood wounds, he'll like the ladies, right? And God loves everyone but you, not you, gay boy. And I love how he points out that the pastor of his church basically says, like, just ixnay on the gay talk and we'll get through this together.
Oh, yeah, don't tell anyone. Well, I think the big one there, too, was that they made him watch porn to try to get him to feel the feelings.
It's like assault.
I know, he should be arrested for that.
Disgusting.
That's like, he's 14, so
not cool.
I think he should be arrested for that, because that's, isn't that against the law?
Agreed.
I think so.
I don't know.
You can't be showing porn to a child to get them to try to get,
to like titties. Look at these titties. Don't they look good to you?
It's like, no. I'm just doing that so that he turns straight. It's like, okay, weirdo, you're going to prison now, right?
So he's smart enough to say, Mom and Dad, I'm straight now. And they're like, yay. And again, I want to point out, and he says it himself, all through the story, his family rejects him, his church rejects him, but his friends love him truly unconditionally.
Yeah.
And you're right, T. Who knows if he decided to make different choices and how this is all evolved. Like, maybe they would have a different perspective on it. But as he has chosen at this point, they very much love and support him. But he still feels resentment because he believes it, but he also believes God's love excludes him. So his parents say, let's go to a youth retreat for $100.
$100.
Never go to a youth retreat.
Really?
It will win
I didn't know.
every
I don't
time.
have any context.
As soon as he said youth retreat, I was like, oh,
have you been to a youth retreat?
Well, we're in for it now.
Were you the youth or were you the retreat?
Of course.
Were you both? Have you been both? Like, were you the youth that was being, attending, or were you the retreat who was like organizing?
Oh, no, I was youth attending. Anyone listening, if you know Acquire the Fire, hit us up. Reach out to us on Instagram. I'd love to hear from you.
What is that?
So he has, you know,
No.
Acquire the Fire?
Okay.
No, it's a long story. So he has a radical religious experience. He's cussing out God, and then he accepts God's love. And it's like this, like night and day. It's this really dramatic, transformative experience for him.
Why do they always win?
And it kills all this anxiety and fear.
Yeah.
Why do youth retreats always win?
God forbid I go to a youth retreat right now.
Because remember that whole... Oh, you'd be sobbing your head off. You know, the thing I was talking about, this like setting up this sort of emotional situation to be moved by all of these sensory things in a space, in a church service, like it's that times a billion. Like it's all directed toward change. So, and again, I don't want to say emotionally manipulative, but it is very emotionally manipulative.
I guess I wouldn't go to a youth retreat. Do they have like a middle-age retreat? Wouldn't that be crazy? I know. Can I go to a middle-age retreat?
You'd be kicked out. Well, you could probably get away with 17,
wouldn't that be
18.
interesting if I like went undercover and went to like, not youth, I'm talking like a middle-age retreat.
To a youth retreat?
They must have...
Like a promise keeper?
What the hell? This is so hard to understand anything. It's fine. I'm letting it go, but fine. If I went to promise... Okay.
If you know, you know.
If I went to like what if I went undercover, right? What would happen? No, as
a dude?
Like, I don't know. Do I have to dress different or probably?
Well, promise keepers is for like the heads of families, like husbands, like men.
Oh.
So
but I'm head of
they
household.
boot you out
so
immediately.
that doesn't count. Okay, so what can I go to see if they'd,
I don't know. I don't know what's out there now.
Inside scoop. Ask Katie. Would I just get killed? No, I don't want to just get killed.
You know what I found? Well, it depends. I mean, I don't know. It depends on the church because some are more liberal. I was talking to Katie today at dinner. It's her birthday tomorrow, and we went out to dinner tonight. And she makes our Instagram posts. Can I just say this real quick? We haven't even talked about if homosexuality is a sin according to the Bible or not. I don't think that we should try to prove that or disprove that on this show. Everyone's going to have their feelings around it.
If it's a sin?
There is a lot of...
My answer to that is...
Obviously, we don't think it is.
I understand.
No, I'm saying according to the Bible.
That's where it's disqualified. Because it's like, the question is, if homosexuality is a sin, it's like, what are you even talking, like, why are we even, it's not even.
I know.
It's not even, why would we, it's like saying, like.
I know.
I don't even know why I would be talking about that right now.
I know.
You know?
Let's move on. It's not a sin, okay?
I don't care either way. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
I know.
What I care about is that a lot of people believe that it is.
But it's also not.
Where it's like, all right, what is that going to do?
And that...
I mean, it's nothing.
No, the issue is that people believe that it is, and then they make policy based on that. And that's where it's like... where it gets fucked up. When it starts to infringe on your rights, that's where I start to get real pissed.
Yeah. But when you're like, is it a sin or not? I don't care. Like, that doesn't matter to me.
As you should.
And I'm like, oh, wait. Other people care about it. And then all of a sudden they have to fucking try to rip my family apart for no reason. It's like for literally no reason.
Exactly.
Plug in a Hyundai EV and the extraordinary happens. From the charge time and range in the Ioniq 5 and 6 to the adventurous spirit of the Kona Electric to the 601 horsepower Ioniq 5N. Hyundai EVs make the extraordinary electrifying. There's joy in every journey.
EPA estimated 303-mile driving range for 2024 Ioniq 5 SE SEL Limited rear-wheel drive and 361-mile driving range for 2024 Ioniq 6 SE long-range rear-wheel drive with fully charged battery. Actual range may vary. Visit HyundaiUSA.com or call 562-314-4603 for more details.
Okay, so he's healed, he's whole and new, and now he thinks that God's going to make him a heterosexual, which is sweet. And he joins this ex-gay movement, and this is a movement that believes that God will heal the gay out of them. Right? And what really does is he thinks that it indoctrinates you into isolation. Mm-hmm. He goes to college. He decides to major in being a youth pastor.
Oh, because you can't be, so you can have male friends.
And
you get into isolation because it's like, oh, I can be friends with dudes, but not too close. But don't be slapping their butts.
Well, go play basketball with them, but don't watch a movie on the couch.
Sports only.
You know what I'm saying?
You can watch sports only on the couch with the lights on and high fives, and there better be a bunch of wings and women.
Wings.
Sitting on your lap.
Tits.
Yeah, just tits.
Just around.
In your face.
You should have one hand should be full of
oh my
tits.
God, that sounds awesome.
Should be full of wings.
Sorry. Oh, God. I knew you were about to say wings after the tits thing, and I was like, say it.
You're like, excuse me, I have to excuse myself to an interior room of the house. And he loses his dad suddenly, which is really sad, and now he feels this is he never got to like have this resolution with his father, but now he has to feel this responsibility for his mom. But he's got these close friends, Nick, Tommy, and Jack, and he's questioning God. Why am I not hetero yet? You know,
still gay.
I'm not ex-gay yet.
And I keep like dating these.
I keep being gay. I'm not ex. When do I become ex-gay?
Women, but it's just weird. It feels weird. Like it's not
working. It's not working. And again, this Nick in his adult life is wonderful. He makes it very clear that we love you no matter what. And eventually this whole ex-gay situation falls apart. Stats. But what happens?
Wait, what do you mean what happens?
Well, the ex-gay falls apart. This Exodus Commission, or whatever it's called. Where he says like 98% of people can't be ex-gayed.
Isn't that crazy?
You can't ex the gay out of them. But what does Art say? His own personal convictions remain.
What do you mean? So he's like, go ahead.
He feels compelled to singleness. He feels that God is asking him to be celibate.
Yep.
His friends love him as Jesus loves him. He says to his friends, you can't use family language with me if you don't mean it. And they go away for 2 whole weeks and pray and think about it. And they come back together and they say, we are family. You're my bro. And we're always going to be in each other's lives.
I mean, you're my bro. We'll always be in each other's lives, right?
You're my bro. Don't say it if you don't
You're my bro. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Am I your bro?
Yeah, totally.
This is probably when I start to separate. Because I have
a new attitude.
You know, because, again, even the, like, trying to be straight thing, you know, that feels weird, you know? Like, I can empathize, you know, all these different things.
You can empathize with that, yeah.
That happened throughout his life. Coming out, getting right back in the closet, coming out again, going back in the closet. Like, that happened to me many times. Like, I get it. And sometimes because of my parents, sometimes because of friends, whatever was happening, I get it. But this is where I think you said crazy talk. This is when I start to also veer away from... But you said crazy talk, so then I went with what you're...
It is crazy talk. He believes the Bible is the divine word of God. He believes that it is written by him, for him, by his creator. I'm not trying to be controversial here, but the Bible is a book written by men. And it was written by men of a time that had feelings about things and people and places and spaces and butts and nuts and everything you can have feelings about. It was written by men. People say it was divine. It was divine. the God shot down a beam of light of wisdom to these men, and they wrote it down in the Bible. And it's really hard to argue with someone that believes this shit because their tried and true document is always fucking Bible. And if you don't think the Bible's shit, then you're not going to be able to you can't, it's like you're on a completely different playing field when you're trying to talk to people like this. Because, if we want to argue about something, we kind of have to agree on a baseline standard of what we accept as fact or true. And if you believe that the Bible is the ultimate word of God, we're never going to be able to talk or argue properly.
Because it's irrational.
Because I don't believe that.
It's like you can't have a rational conversation.
It's written.
Right? With someone who's completely irrational.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Exactly.
Crazy talk. But yeah.
So I don't want to get into what's in the Bible or not, but we are not going to figure out in this program today, whenever you're listening to this, whether the Bible is pro-gay or not. But I can tell you this. It does comment often about purity, and it comments often about maybe promiscuity, maybe...
Yeah, there's a lot.
Orgies. In Galatians, it talks about orgies.
There's a lot of stuff that people don't, hold on to that is in the Bible.
But the point is, and he's saying that he thinks of this as a guide to his life. And as a person that just recently studied Galatians, I can tell you this.
Research alert.
I do take it as a guide. I take that as a guide to help if you want a healthy life on earth. So God's not, or Jesus isn't necessarily saying, you can't do this, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. And honestly, and again, Galatians is written by Paul. It's not Jesus' point of view, it's not God's point of view, it's Apostle Paul. He's writing it to he's writing a letter to the Church of Galatians, and they're saying, cool it on the orgies, cool it on the Cheetos, cool it on the Percocets, cool it on the lying, cool it on the cheating, cool it on the stealing, the murdering. The reason you shouldn't do all these things isn't necessarily because they're good, bad, or the other. We're not making judgments about that, but they can get you into trouble. So if you want a good life, it's better to abstain from stuff like that. I don't think that it's saying some things have absolutes, obviously.
It's hard. Guess. Sometimes.
That's even open for debate. But I think it's just a guide to say, if you want a healthy lifestyle, if you don't want diabetes, don't exist on Cheetos. If you don't want to lose your liver to cirrhosis, don't drink yourself to death.
Cheers to that.
If you don't want to lose your lungs, don't smoke a bunch. There has to be a balance. And it's just a warning to say, don't do this stuff to excess, because if it does, it's going to make your life shitty. It's not saying it's keeping you apart from the love of God. It's just saying if you want a healthier lifestyle.
I'm getting converted right now. I'm loving
You might want to cool it on the shit. See?
Yeah, no,
it's not that deep is what my point is. And he's saying we all have desires that aren't good for us. And I'm saying, yes, that's exactly true. The point of that book is we all have desires that aren't good for us. So cool it, and it'll just make your life a bit easier. Does it make you more of a sinner or less of a sinner, or is someone going to heaven or someone going to hell? No, it's not the truth. It's not the point of that book at all.
It's like preventative medicine.
In fact, the point, it's preventative medicine. That's all it is.
Yeah.
And it's reasonable. Now, he says this himself, for whatever reason, the good of God does not include gay sex for him. Now, you could look at this from a few points of view. You could say premarital sex is not good because it intertwines you with someone too deeply. In hetero relationships, you risk pregnancy, but in all relationships, you risk disease. Maybe you shouldn't be so emotionally closely tied to someone. There are all kinds of reasons to not have sex.
It's messy.
Does God forbid homosexual sex for art is the question. That's not for us to figure out. That's between himself, his God, right? So he's saying for him, accepting the goodness of God does not include gay sex for him.
Sure.
And I think that that's fair for us just to accept that.
But again, how is he talking to those queers he's talking to in the church?
Yeah. Don't know. So Nick says we're going to bear each other's burdens, and he says, I want you to be part of my family, and if I move, you're moving with us. And Art talks about how there's this brotherhood that's built into his daily life that is intimacy, and it's wonderful. Mm-hmm. And I think this is great. And I was thinking about, if I was single at this point in my life, would I be able to pull this off with close friends of mine? But I was thinking it's hard to offer it, and it would be really hard to ask for it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he even says, like, there's this, like, unspoken thing of, like, are you, like, am I being saved? Are you saving me from a life of loneliness?
Right.
Is it, like, a pity ask? Or if I do ask, do you feel like you're being put on the spot, that you have to take care of me, and I'm just going to be alone? I think it's a really hard balance to strike.
Yeah.
And I'd like to think that I would be able to do it with close friends of mine, but it feels really...
Another angle there I was thinking about was, it's a lot to live with people logistically. Like, even if you love the people,
yeah,
it's like they might hate that you throw your laundry next to the hamper, or that, you know, you don't do your dishes right after you eat, or so, you know, like whatever the thing, like logistical things happen that like end up like becoming bigger things.
Yeah.
You can totally love the people, like respect, love, deep stuff, and then like your way of living, whatever that way is, right or wrong, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Just different. How flexible are you with that kind of thing, you know? I'm just saying, there's a big...
No, I agree.
Because they just jumped in. Were they roommates? They were roommates. So that kind of works out, maybe. But like then the wife and the girlfriends and the kids, once you get...
Guys are kind of easy, though, with each other. I mean, they always say, like, you don't really know someone until you live with them. And what if, like, let's say I was single and you and Gwen were like, Elly, we want to invite you to be part of our family. Like, for real. Like, if we move, you move.
You're like, oh my God.
And then you really got to know me and the way I lived. I don't like Elly at all.
I love Elly, but I don't like
She's
Elly.
Not. We got to
You know, it just feels like a hard...
Let's kill her.
That's probably the easiest way, right? Because it's like, let's not have the conversation.
That's probably the easiest way.
Yeah, like, hey...
You don't want to renege on
like,
the offer you made.
Let's not do that. I've had many
We're gonna have to murder
a roommate situation where like, oh my God, we're like really good friends. This is totally gonna work out. It's like, and now we hate each other. You know, it's like a weird...
Yeah.
We're no longer friends.
It's weird.
Yes.
So his mom apologizes. He makes a lot of salient points here. The world that we see, that people seem to be only loyal to people they're romantic with, and it's all about sex and romance.
We've heard this theme before. I like it. Truth.
We have, and we agree. Can we be single and live in deep community? There is a Disney lie. Romance and sex brings a lot of pain.
Man, I would love to live in communal.
People are obsessed with romance.
Yeah.
Why?
Just damn movies.
And romance is not the height of human experience. And we agree with that, all of that, totally. And he talks about, like, people that date his boy Nick. Like, I was trying to think of that from, like, the lady's point of view. If I was dating someone and he had this dude that lived with him and he just told me he was gay, but he was celibate and he's his family, I'd probably think ways about it. I think it'd be hard not to. But I think once I got into it, I could accept it, and I would think it was really lovely, and it would make me like Nick even more.
I think you would think ways about it maybe before meeting him, and then he'd meet him and be like, oh my God, this is awesome. And then he'd, like, throw all his socks next to or whatever, and you're just like, ew.
Yeah, ew. Thought he was cool, but no. Homosexuals are overly sexualized.
Yeah, that's too bad. It's too bad.
It's true. Let queer people live life of faithful integration. And he talks about queer people understand him more maybe than his Christian people even, because they understand what chosen family is like, because a lot of them have felt being estranged from their family for living a certain lifestyle. I know you like that word. And so Art's just living by his own convictions, and I wrote again, he is working out his own salvation. It's not for us to judge. It's fluid. It will change. It will turn. It will make turns. And I think it ultimately comes down to, what does his life look like? What does he want for himself? For now, he lives in a chosen family as a long-term single person. And I loved what he was talking about when people get on dating apps.
Totally.
And they might have had a hard day and they're just looking for a big hug at the end.
Yeah.
But they accept sex instead, because you can't really ask someone that you don't know for a big hug. And I will say that in my 30s, when I was the most promiscuous, I often felt pretty empty after an encounter, because I thought I was seeking it out for just bang, if I can say that. But I think he's right. I was seeking out connection. I was seeking out a big hug. I was seeking out validation, maybe like confirmation that, like, I was attractive or worth being with, or whatever it was I was seeking. It wasn't the sex act at all.
I thought it was for the story.
That was usually pretty... Well, I do think...
No, there's some good stories.
Good story. That's true.
But no, I agree. I think I was all about that too, like not wanting the hookup. You're looking for that long hug. But then I got to thinking, do you think he's a long hugger? For sure. Nick's telling him he loves him every day, all the time. It's really good to him.
Oh, they're getting big, deep hugs every day.
Deep hugs. And not sexual, but I'm talking long hugs.
Yeah, it's not sexual. We know long huggers. So my final thought, again, I'm really trying to do this without judgment. If he is convicted to live a life without sex or romance and to be celibate, and that works for him, then so be it. He's probably more fulfilled than most. If he is convicted to be celibate because he thinks God wants him to be, then I feel for him, because I'm not sure that that's true. Again,
well, Catholic priests are celibate.
That's between him and his God.
Sorry.
Allegedly.
Allegedly is right.
What it really comes down to for me is, and I don't think that we got this fully from him, but tell me if I'm wrong. Does he think that being gay is a sin?
I don't think so. I think being gay isn't a sin.
Okay.
Acting on it might be.
Okay.
I don't know.
And then I wrote, and if it is a sin, then why hasn't it left him yet? But he's saying it isn't a sin.
Well, that was that whole idea about being gay isn't a sin. It's the having sex that are following up on it.
So if he did engage, so if if being gay isn't a sin, if he did engage in a pure homosexual relationship, saving sex until marriage, is that okay?
Can you just repeat that one more time?
If he did engage in a pure, when I say pure, I mean,
I see.
They're not doing any funny business before they get married, and it's homosexual or same-sex relationship, and then they get married, and then they have sex after marriage, is that okay?
I don't think it's the marriage thing, is it? I think it's the acting on being gay thing, right?
So it's not a sin to be gay, but it is a sin to have same-sex sex.
I don't know if he's saying that.
Is that what he's saying? That's his conviction.
He's safe from that in case, because he's celibate.
But what if he wanted to live out a romantic relationship? Could he do it in a way that he thought it fit a mold that the Bible has laid out for heterosexual couples, i.e. being of pure thought and intention until you're married, and then having sex in the confines of marriage?
Well, let me just throw this out. What I've heard in the past is that gay sex isn't real sex.
Real, like it was imagined?
Because it's so unnatural and doesn't try to make babies or something. It's not. I don't know. But I've heard like that quote, like gay sex isn't really sex. So I haven't sinned.
So sex only...
Ever. I'm the holiest of holies.
Good job.
Wow. I'm just going to out her.
Okay.
But no, I these are good questions. Maybe questions for him. Because I don't know what he...
So do you think that he would say that any sex that doesn't lead to procreation is sinful? A sinful act?
Because it's only a physical... It's for pleasure as opposed to...
Your jollies.
Yeah, procreation. I don't know.
Should we name this episode One Handful of Tits and Another Full of Wings? A Fistful of Tits.
Fistful of tits. One fistful of tits.
A fistful of tits.
Another fistful.
One fistful of wings.
Yeah, Katie will love typing that down, right?
This episode was so thought-provoking. It challenged me in so many ways. I'm still feeling thoughts and feelings about it. I don't know exactly what I think about it. I think it's a very unique point of view that is rarely shown on this show, and that's why I love it so much. And I love it that we get to add it to the archive, that the diverse archive that is This Is Actually Happening. I think it's an excellent episode. I think he's an excellent storyteller, and I think it should challenge us all to think about these things a little bit deeper and hopefully have
grace.
Grace is a good word. I was going to say be less judgy than we are.
It made me think.
It made me think too.
I had a lot. I've identified with so much of this. My cousin's a priest.
Yeah.
I have another cousin who did question his sexuality, and he wanted to be a deacon, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
I've read Galatians and Bible study. Thank you for listening. This has been an episode of Trauma Bonded. You can find our show where podcasts are kept. If you like us, please rate and review us on Apple or other places. Rate us 5 stars and write like it, love it, wants more of it. That's it. It takes seconds. Thanks to Art for sharing their story and giving us the opportunity to talk about it. Find him and his work at revoiced.org. That's REVOICE.org. Revoice is a Christian ministry that supports LGBTQ plus Christians who follow a historic sexual ethic. That's his words. To seek out info about the Modern Family Institute, donate to help advance their work, or get engaged, please visit their website at modernfamilyinstitute.org. Thanks to This Is Actually Happening team, including Whit, Missildine, and Andrew Waits, and the maker of our music and website, Nathaniel Stromboli. And thanks to Forrest, Chiras, for editing this episode, and to Katie Cable for building those blasted Instagram posts. You can contact us at Instagram at TraumaBondUpOnOfficial, or visit our website. We are trauma bonded to the story, to the storyteller, to the listeners, and to each other. My bro, T. Thanks for spending time with us today. Love you, T.
Love you, bro.
Thank you. Okay. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Trauma Bonded.